Hi everyone, good morning. So I warmly welcome all of you to our Workspace webinar. Arjun, who's a certified trainer, will take you through the Google Workspace new features. And thereafter, my colleague Kavishka, who is specialized in GMB, will show you why Google My Business is important for a company. So over to you, Arjun.
Thank you, Yashika. I hope all of you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So let me share my screen. All right. I hope all of you can see my screen. Okay. All right. So I hope all of you can see my screen well. And okay. So
Yes.
all right. So let's get started. So let quickly just give a brief introduction about who I am. Well, my name is Arjun. I'm the certified trainer and change management specialist at Fintech Consultancy. So I believe that all of you all doing well and safe during this COVID pandemic season. And so I believe also you all aware about this webinar session, and thank you for joining across from every location, every organization. And what we are going to look at it during this session is about Google Workspace. Okay, and let me would like to just give a small, quick introduction about before we get into the applications. And I just want to paint a picture about what we are going to do. All right. So we are in a very challenging situations right now as a country that we are facing in. And during this time, how we can utilize all our work and how we're going to continue our business without any barrier. So what is the tool and what Google can do on behalf of to increase the productivity while we are connecting as a virtual, in a virtual mannerism. All right. So when it comes to the average of employee reports, basically overload with overwhelm, most of the technology exacerbate these problem, right? So it gets the way drive this silos between people, teams, and information, and add enormous steps like process to get something done. So people end up with wasting valuable time managing and disparate tools they use instead of high value and human work. In fact, of an employee, their time looking for so much of information. So this is like hiring five people and having one person and never show up for a work. Okay, so nearly 35% people of or 35% of workers spend their time less than 15 minutes of outside during their work. So that 1% for in your day. And let's be honest, in it's probably to get something done, like take out of your trash and walking, like your certain works. So this work is true before pandemic. The recent study basically showed us that work is a day is only getting longer than as we shifting more distributed remotely working environment. So as you all know that during this season, there are people who are unable to work in physically in one particular location. So we have to be, split it in different part of the world or different part of the locations, and we are unable to connect. So we have to go all the way to virtual communication. So that is what we are doing right now. We connecting to this session in different part of the places, location at your working place, even at your work, at your home places, right? So that is where the Google Workspace comes to play, and that's where we have introduced ourselves as Google Workspace, where you can be at any location, even at your home. Still, you can create your working environment as a working your home place as a working environment. So it's not just we have rebranded the product, we have completely enhanced the product, and we have brought the productivity by using this product basically to increase all your day-to-day work. And one of the best communication tool has been introduced uh, over the globe, which Google has given all the high ending and high increase in productive tools such as Gmail, Chat, Google Meeting, Documents, and Task, and etc. And these products actually it's quietly been increased in terms of usage wise. As you all know that Google is a very known product to globally, but we all know that we only just use Google just for to spend certain times to keep ourselves entertained. That's it. But even in terms of working, how we can increase the productivity. So that is what you see from the last year. Before I speak, like before the pandemic, it was just a 1.6 billion users been using this Google Workspace, but now it has been increased during this COVID pandemic situation, which is almost 2.6 million users, which it says the productivity of these products or this platform has been increased to a quite extent. And also the flexibility about on using these products, not just an email. This is not what you see on the screen. It's not just an email solution where you send replies, get emails and just read the email and reply the email. It's not only that. Where you can also where you can also use the Gmail, not just an email solution, not just an email communication, where you can also chat across with the people. So it's not just a communication system. It is also where you can assign your task, and you can share any pertaining to any documents. It could be pertaining to any task that you want it to be communicated. And also the Google Docs, which is also will helps you to create certain documents. Of course, we all know that Google Docs is basically to create documentations. Even if you want to create certain agendas, there are so more things that you can do it. But here I'll be also demonstrating it to you how we can utilize these features and application to increase the productivity while we are working as a virtually. All right. And of course, where you when it comes in terms of uh, presenting your presentations, doing certain of your communication methods, how we can use it. So Google presentation, which we call it as Google Slides, and not only just Google Slides, where we connect as a virtually through Google Meet and these tools that we are using. And basically, Google Meet will enhance you to experience all features through this application. Like I said, so when we are connecting as a virtually, most of the concern is how we're going to share our thoughts and ideas. So one of the tools that you can also use, which is the Google Jamboard, where you basically you can put all your thoughts and ideas through this Jamboard. And this is one of the virtual tool which you can use as a virtual whiteboard as well. And I'll be also explaining you in further due time. And in terms of security, it's nothing is different. It's 100% secured infrastructure that we have built so far. So Google has given this security and the compliance in detail. Even if you want to know about how you can utilize these applications, what are the infrastructure behind the scene that you can use in this Google Workspace as well. Okay, so that's a quite little introduction about that I wanted to pay that I wanted to show you before we get into the applications. All right. So during this season, what we can do, how we can increase the productivity, as I was talking about. Okay, so let me just show you something here. Okay, in terms of Gmail, like I told you that basically Gmail is one of the tools that we can use for the communication. For an example, to receive an email, to send email, that's it. So most of the time we spend a lot of effort and works, and during all us time that we spend in Gmail to communicate about certain informations and emails, right? When it comes to email, it's not just an email communication. Let's say for an instant, if I want to make a certain effort to communicate certain number of people, let's say for an example, during my working hours, I want to communicate about certain tasks within my certain colleagues. All right. So most of the time, what we do is we send an email, we send a reminder, or we create a group chat where we can communicate then and there. So these are the options that we ought to use. But in Gmail, there's something called while you're being on Gmail, you can also create a chat option where I can communicate with certain number of people. For an example, you can see right now onto my left corner, there's a chat bar which has given basically you can chat with certain number of people. Even you can create certain groups that you can share your thoughts and ideas across the group as well. And also, just not only that, you can also see there's something called the Meet, which is the Google Meet application. So for you to do all these applications, to navigate these applications, basically you have to click on this icon over here, and you have to open all this application in separate windows or in a separate tabs. So most of the time, it'll make you really feel uncomfortable for you to navigate to all these applications one at a time. But what if I can bring all this application in one interface? So that will make me more comfortable, and I can basically stay where I am. For an example, if I can just take a look at a Gmail, and while I'm in the Gmail, I can also go through all this chat, and also I can make a quick video call if I need it. Okay, so there's something called Snooze Feature. So while we are working from the restricted locations, for an example, like we are working, and some of you might be working in your organization right now, or you might be also working in your home place. So there's something called a Snooze Feature where I can also set reminders. For an instant, I have an email. So, but what I basically do is in my day-to-day basis, I have to reply all my emails. Whatever emails that I receive from different parties, I have to make sure to reply all those emails. But sometimes, because of my workload, I might even tend to forget. So what I can do is, there's something called the Snooze Feature, which you could find in every emails in this search in this email inbox. So I'll click on this Snooze Feature. I might say pick a date and time. For an example, I would say, okay, this particular email, I want it to get reminded on Monday, which is the 10th of May. And I can also define a time so that it will remind me on a particular time that I have set. So I have saved as a snooze email, which means I have snoozed the email. So now you can see, or now you can figure it out, the email has been moved to snooze. So which means this particular email will remind me on the date that I have set and the days and the time that I have set at the same time. All right. So that is the advantage that you get. So during your working time, so some of you might working during not even your working hours. Some of you even might work even overnight or overtime work, right? So during that period, you might even miss certain emails to reply. You might even forget about certain emails to reply on a particular time. So during that kind of a situation, what you could do is you can just simply snooze that email. So it will help you to remind you on the time that you have set at the same date. Okay. All right. So let me just talk a little further about the Google Chat. So while I'm being on Gmail, how you can assign tasks, certain tasks that you can assign during your workload. For an example, so what I want to do is I want to create a quick chat with my group of people. I'm not going to chat with as an individual. What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically create a room, which we basically call it as the group instead of calling group, we call it as rooms. For example, if I were to say this is the Google training team, and I can also allow outside people to join to this particular Google Meet or this Google chat, which I'm basically going to create as a group. So I would say Rishika. Okay. So what I basically have done is I have created a room. I'm going to just create a room. Even I can add people from the outsiders. For an example, if you're unable to make calls to every users that you're on the call list, you can also create a group instead of making so many calls. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a room, so which is basically as a group. So I can also chat with these people, instead of making calls and sending certain emails. So while I'm being on Gmail, so I can basically chat with those people. So what I told you is earlier, where basically to make communication and chat, you have to go to this application where you need to navigate to this application called chat. So instead of doing that while you're being on Gmail, you can still communicate it. So as you communicate, you can also assign certain tasks to this certain individual. So you can see right now, I have created a group. And in this group, you can basically see there are 2 members. What I could do is I can also add room or add tasks to certain people. For an example, there are 2 members that I have added to this group. I can just simply say follow-up task. And I can also do a quick assigning to the user that I have assigned. And I can also add this task on that chat bar. So at the same time, the participants or whoever in my colleagues in this group, they also will be notified that I have assigned certain tasks to certain individual. So that the individual can go through all the tasks, whatever that task been assigned, they can also mark it as done once the task is completed. And also you can share your files and documents to make certain communication and to make certain reference. So you can also attach certain documents. Let's say, for an example, if I want to attach this brochure, which is basically I'm going to send them as a commenter, and then I'm going to just share the document. And once I share the document, I'll be able to track all the documents separately under file list. And whatever the task that I have assigned during that chat, I can also get it everything on a separate taskbar. So that is the option that you can see. So while you're on Gmail, so you don't have to send emails most of the time. So you can also spend your work, and you can also assign certain tasks while using just simply the chat application. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can also do ask. There's something called here where you have the chat bar. There's something called basically the Q&A option, and here you could find there's an option called Q&A. If you have any questions, you can throw up your questions right here. So I'll be also able to read those questions. I can also answer you. So we will be having a Q&A option on the end of the session. We'll be giving you 10 minutes in prior, and then you can go through all the questions. We'll be able to even give you all the feedback and answers. Okay. All right. And in terms of composing certain emails, okay, so most of the time what we do is we would spend a lot of times to compose an email. We would just go to the email and just start composing the contents and all of that. So what you can do is, instead of composing a certain emails that you, let's say for an example, there's an email content that you continue to each and every email to each and every recipient. For an example, it could be a notice that you send to all your customer list. So what you can do here is basically you can create a certain email. let's say for an example, it's a annual notice. It's an example that I'm just taking you just to paint a picture in here. Assume this is an email that I have to send to all my customers in a day-to-day basis. So what I can do is basically I can save as a template instead of copying and pasting it. So what I could do is I can just save this email as a draft, as a template, and it says the annual notice, which will get saved as a subject of the email. And once it's been sent, what I could do is I can just compose it again. Instead of copy and pasting it, I can go to this three dot right over at the bottom, where you can see at the right at the bottom, and go to this template. The email that which I have saved as a template, I can just directly click on here. So the content will get copied to the right on the compose bar, so that you don't have to copy and paste it. So there could be certain emails that you, let's say for an example, there are people who are in the HR team or in the administration, people who send certain contents to all your staff, or it could be even all your customer base. So those kind of emails contents can be basically saved as a template. Simple as that. All right. And also there's something that I wants to show, which is the confidential mode. Okay, so during this time there could be certain information, even it could be even also the financial information that you want to send across to any of your recipient or any of your customers. So what you could do is, in those kind of context, even if it is a confidential email, if you're sending a sensible information, where I can set up a expiry date by using this confidential mode. Okay, let me say I'm going to expire this email in 1 day, and I'm going to save this as a confidential mode. So right now you can see my my entire compose bar, it's turned into a confidential mode. And now it says the content get expired to the recipient in 1 day, which is the 8th of May, which is tomorrow at the same time. At the same time, you can see the recipient, the content where it says cannot be forwarded, copy, print, or download. Uh, Basically, the recipient will get restricted to these features, to these options: forward, copy, print, and download. So these options will be completed restricted after me sending this email to a particular recipient. And once I send it, obviously, I have to give a recipient over here. Let me say Kason for the moment, and then send it as it is. So once the email has been sent, I'll be able to see the email, and you can also see the confidential mode, where it says the content will get expired on the 8th of May. So also, like I told you, the recipient won't be able to forward the email, or either copy, print, or even download the email. So that is the confidential mode that you will have even here. So during this time, so since we have been restricted in particular locations, in different locations, when you want to communicate certain emails, contents which are very sensible, you can also use the annual, which is the confidential mode. All right.
Arjun, sorry, can you just show me how to pick that confidential mode?
Yes. Okay, you can see right now in the compose bar, where you could find this option called the confidential, which is shows like a lock icon. Once you click on that option, you'll be able to see the expiry mode where you can set. So it starts with from 1 day to 5 years.
Right, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. And also, let me just talk about something else here. So for an example, most of the time when we want to set up certain meetings, we schedule it, right? So when you want to make a quick video call with certain number of people, it could be your client, it could be your even your colleagues. We use Google Calendar or any calendar to set up meetings, to schedule a particular meeting on a particular time slot. When in terms of Gmail, what you could do is basically, let's say I have an email which I need to send it to Kesavan. Let's say, for an example, I have an email which I just want to send him as a task matter. Just say this is the content. And right now, I don't want this email to be sent to Kesavan right at the moment. I want him to receive this email on the next Monday, on the following Monday. So what I could do is I can basically click on this option called Schedule Send, and where I can set up a date, which means I can schedule a date on Monday, on 10th of May. I can also just simply say 10 a.m. in the morning and schedule it. So immediately that particular email will get scheduled under your schedule email label bar. You can see on the left of my screen, left at the corner where it says the schedule. So the email has been scheduled. So more in this kind of a scenario, there could be scenarios that you have in your organization, in your working load. Let's say you have certain emails that you need to send it on every month end. So in that kind of a scenario, you can set all your email, which means you can schedule it for a particular time slot. Also, you can select a date, and those emails, it'll automatically will be sent to those recipients, so that you don't have to follow it up whether you want to see whether it's been sent or not. So basically, what it means is you can schedule an email, and you can put a date and a time, and where you can schedule it, and it'll automatically will be sent to those recipients. So I hope you got that point. So is there any questions regarding that? I hope if you have any questions, you can also ask questions. All right. Also, let me just quickly talk about this. There's something called tasks. Okay. So most of the time, what we do is we maintain a notebook. Sometimes when we are at home, even at office, and even in our workstation, we might write down something and paste it on the wall, or even in your workstation. But here is something called task. Instead of maintaining a notebook, a physical notebook or a physical paper, you can keep all your track records, all your day-to-day work and your to-do list in this taskbar. For an instant, if I have an email, let's say, which I need to follow it up, I can also drag and drop that particular email into this taskbar. Let's say this is the email that I need to follow it up. I can basically set up a date. Let's say by next 14th of May. I can also just set it as it is immediately in the taskbar, so that you can you'll be able to see right now this email I have given under the taskbar, so that every day in the morning when I open it up, I'll be able to see what are the tasks that is already in pending and what are the completed list. Once the task is completed, I'll be able to just put a small tick mark, just like in the notebook. You can just put a tick mark and you can figure it out what are the tasks that has been completed and what are the pending list. So just like that, all your tasks, you can maintain it in this taskbar instead of maintaining multiple notebooks and other tools that you've been using for so long years. Here, while you're being on Gmail, you can also just keep a track of records of all your works and what are the checklists that you have to complete it and which are not completed, which is completed as well. All right. Okay, that's a little options that I just show, features that I showed you in Gmail, where I can also utilize during this situation, during this time. Basically, you can create all your meetings, chats, groups, and you can also start communicating with one another. All right. Okay. Okay, so let me just quickly talk about the Google Docs, which is an important applications during this time. To, let's say, for an example, when you want to create certain agendas, brochures, meeting minutes, when you want to keep any project proposals that you want to create, Google Docs will help you to create in a greater manner, which will increase your productivity by using this application. Okay. So in Google Docs, basically what we can do is, as you all know that all these application where it gets saved automatically. So whatever changes that you make in the document, everything gets saved automatically. Google Docs, that's the title of my document in the document. So as you all know that basically Google Docs will also can use the voice typing feature to do any documentations. People who are not aware about it, let me just quickly just show it to you so that you will understand how Google Voice that helps you to create the documentation. So this is the voice typing feature which we have. And for an example, if I were to say something, welcome everyone to Google Docs, which is one of the phenomenal feature that you could find in the Google Workspace. So that while I'm being at home, for me to create any documentations and create any certain agendas, basically I can use my voice to get the job done. So this is one of the important feature which brings the productivity 100% without using a keyboard. Full stop, select all, bold, italic. So just like that, you can use your voice even to change the font or whatever file types that you want to create, whatever formats that you want to see in the document, you can even use your voice and make it as a command. And in terms of using other languages, still you can go ahead with it. Here you can see there are plenty of languages, almost 90% of languages globally that has been embedded to this particular languages in this voice typing. And even in the Tamil, you can see India, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia. Even in Sinhala, you can also try it in any other languages as well. So that is one of the feature that you see in the voice typing. Okay, but in terms of since we are depending all these applications and we are working in different part of the locations and part of the Sri Lanka, it could be you could be even outside of the Colombo and outside of the city. Okay, so during this time, how we can work along with my colleagues. So one thing what you could do is you can share the document, that we all know that, which means you can collaborate with one another. So right now, if I want to share with any of my colleague, I can basically share this. Let's say for an instant, I would just share with few of my colleagues, and then you can ask them to join the document immediately then and there. So one at a time, actually all the people at a time, you can work together along with the people. So for an example, so I have shared this document with two of my colleagues. But at the same time, even if I want all of you also to connect to this document, what I can do is there's something called in the sharing option, there's something called get the link. And I can, it's defaultly, it has been restricted to one domain, which is my organization called FinTech Consultancy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable this anyone with link. Okay. What I could also do is I can basically share this link with anyone, those who have a browser or with an internet connection. So basically with this link, they can join to the document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this document in this chat so that everyone will be able to just simply click by the link. They can just join the document immediately. So I don't have to invite them individually, which is also can be done. But what I wanted to do is basically, since we are connecting virtually in different locations, so I just want you to just join the document by simply click on the link. So once you click on the link, what will basically happen is everyone will be able to join the document immediately. And once you join the document, I'll be able to see whoever that is right now joining to this document as well. Okay, fine. So right now I don't see anyone in the document yet. I'm just all by myself. If any of you can just click on the link and just join the document, it also would be great so that people will be able to see it. Okay, so since I have shared this specifically with my two of my colleagues, you can see now Kesavan and there's some called Yashika. So both of them also they have not opened the document yet. I can see there are some people are joining to this document, but it shows me as an anonymous user. Since it's I don't know actually who are I have not specifically shared it with specific people. I just shared it as a public view. So people who click on the option, it only shows me as an anonymous. For an instant, if I want to ask them to, let's say for an okay, what I would just want to do is I just click on this option here. I would just insert a table. Okay, so if I want to collect certain information, those who are in the document, they can also just go to this table and they can read the content. They can just fill it up then and there. So what it means is basically whoever in the document, if I want to collect certain information about the participants, actually I don't have to go by one and ask them to fill up the document. So what I could do is I can just concurrently share the document, and once they join it, I'll be immediately able to track all the informations right over here in the document. Okay. So the next thing would be I can also assign certain paragraph. Let's say for an instant, if I want to just say this particular line, I can just assign while in the document. I can just put a small @ sign, and then I can define to which user that I want to assign on this particular line or this particular document. For an example, if I were to say K7, so the user will get basically assigned in this document, and he or she will be basically notified that this particular document in this particular line has been assigned by this user. So that is what basically happens in this Google Doc. You can assign users, you can get information then and there, which means you can also collect certain information about the users and the people who are the collaborators. You can collect information immediately within a small period of time. Simple as that. Okay. All right. And also, basically, you can convert this document into any other format. Let me also just show you that. So you can also download this option as from Google Doc to a Word format, which is also PDF format. You can also convert it immediately. And there's also something called the emailing feature, which means while you're in Google Docs, you can also email this particular document to a specific user. For an instant, instead of going to Gmail, just being on the Google Doc, I can click on the email option here, where it opens a small window, which is the compose bar. So right now I can send a copy to myself just for me to get the reference. And I can also address the person as a recipient, and also the body there, which I can also type it right over here. And the document also can be converted here itself, so that you don't have to convert it separately, download it, and then you don't have to go all around the place. Just simply converting here itself. Let's say I want to send it as a Word format, and let's send it. So immediately this particular email will be sent it to the recipient. At the same time, I also will receive an reference of this email in my Gmail, which you'll find under in the update bar. So you can also see this particular document. I send it as a Word document, which I have already converted from then and there itself. I have sent across to my recipient. So likewise, you can also send the document immediately, just like that. Okay. So is there any questions in Google Docs? Any questions that you all want to ask before I get into the rest of the application? Okay.
Sorry, I have one question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a possibility we need to check that if say if you work with some other people on the same document,
Uh-huh.
would that be possible to check what has changed by this user and this particular user? What has changed like that?
What are the changes being made by who, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, there's something called basically under files, there's an option called version history, where it keeps all the history of the document. So from the beginning of the document, which means from the scratch to the bot till up to date, whatever changes been done by which user, all those changes will be recorded under this version history. So it says it's under file, version history, see version history. And under that version history, you'll be able to see all the versions. Basically, it will get saved. So each and every minute, whatever changes that been made during the document, it capture all the minutes in detail as a breakdown in this version history. So you can see now the the beginning of the document, which means the moment when I create the document, it has captured the recorded time is 10:36 a.m., which is today. And I can also see if I want to see the users as anonymous people who join at what time is basically it's 10:42. So likewise, you can see whatever changes that been made by whom at what time. You can also go through this version history and you can just figure it out. But the purpose of this version history, where I can also restore certain versions, all the previous version in any time. So for an example, if I want my just the voice typing feature, which I used as a paragraph, so this version history, I want to rename it. Let's say it's the voice typing. And I can also rename that particular version. And I can also restore that version as the current version, so that I'll be able to go back to the previous version at any given time. There is no restriction in terms of restoring certain versions. You can go, it's like an unlimited version. It's like an unlimited option where I can restore to any given time. Okay. So now you can see the file has been restored as of the current version. So which means, what about the previous version, which is also will be there under that version history. So which means version history cannot be deleted. It will never disappear. It will never get deleted. It will be there forever. So whenever you want to restore to any given time or to any version that you want to go back, you can also do that. So I hope that I answered that question. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. So the next thing, let's just talk about setting up certain meetings. Okay, so let me just show my calendar over here. Okay, so as we all know that basically we can use Google Calendar to set up our meetings, just schedule all our day-to-day work so that we will have a track of records. We know that what we have to focus during that day and during that hour and during the whole month. Okay, so for an example, let me just show my calendar, which I use in my organization. So just to give you a picture. Okay, so Google Calendar is basically to set up meetings, as you all know that. But it's not only meetings that you can schedule all by yourself. This is a calendar which you can also share across with your co-workers, and to track all your meetings in organization wise. For an example, if I want to know right now in any of my colleagues what are the appointments that they have throughout the day, I don't have to call them and ask for an appointment. I don't have to ask for this free available time. While I'm on my Google Calendar, I can check all their availability just throughout here. Okay. So let me just quickly show you how to set up a meeting so that you will understand, because when we are right now connecting through virtually, to set up all the meetings, you don't have to send them send them emails, calls, and following it up and running behind people. You don't have to do that. So instead of doing that, you can set up a meeting through Google Calendar, just simply creating an event. So let me just create an event immediate. You can also create an instant meeting. Let's say this is a meeting about workshop. I would just simply say on 10th of May, I'll be starting at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I can also make it repeat. Let's say this is a workshop that I want to continue on weekly basis. People who have joined in the HR department to set up, workshop in your organization. So basically, you are the person who creating calendar events. If you are the person who maintaining the calendar events on weekly basis, whatever that events happening in your organization, you can also make it as a automatic repeats, where I can also even customize it on weekly basis, on monthly basis as well. But I'm not going to repeat this. This is a one-time event, so I can just simply say does not repeat it. And the next option is to enable the video conferencing, so that immediately people will join the call. And the location also can be defined if you are physically meeting up on a particular location. Let's say I would just say it's a fintech consultancy, so that people also can click on this location and navigate to the location through Google Map. And also can be defined a notification 10 minutes in prior. So for an example, I'm going to set it this meeting on. Yeah, any questions? Okay. So what you can do is also basically 1 hour in prior, you can set up a reminder, so that before you join the meeting, before you join and get along with meeting, you can prepare yourself in 1 hour in prior. So basically, the 10 minutes in prior as the default mode, that also can be a reminder to all my guest list. Okay. The last option is which is the description. So if any reference that you want to refer during the meeting, let's say if it is a document, it could be an email, you can also just type it. Also, you can attach certain reference document that you want to talk about during that meeting. The final option is the guest list. Okay, so I'm going to add few guest lists from my colleagues. And what you all need to do is you just need to type their email ID over here. And right now what I want to do is I want to check these people's availability. Instead of calling them, instead of sending them emails and to check their availability, since they have already shared their calendar along with me, I can check the availability by just simply clicking on to this option called find a time. So right now on 10th of May, myself along with the 3 people, I'll be able to see all 4 of our calendars, whether the calendar is available or not. Can you see the availability now? And plus, this is the option that you can also get it, because instead of calling and sending them emails, instead of doing all their works, basically you can share your calendar along with your co-workers, and you can also check their availability from here itself. So before I set up the meeting, I can choose the time or a time slot or a date slot. And finally, I can also see there's an option called, which is room. Okay, so, rooms is something is belongs to resources. So if you're all setting up meetings in your organization, in your premises, you can have boardrooms, all the boardrooms, meeting rooms, creating by here itself. So what will basically happens is, if you want to set up a meeting on a particular time slot, you can check whether the boardroom is available or not. So that is what we call the rooms. Okay. So finally, the calendar events is created. Now it says, would you like to send as an email invitation? Yes, send across to guest list. And once it's done, I'll be able to see in my calendar as well. Okay. So here you can basically see this is the email, this is the event content. You can see in detail now. And basically people who are who would like to join through video call, which is a Google Meet, they can also click on this link and join the meeting. And if they want to respond to this meeting, let's say if I'm not able to attend for this meeting, I can also instead of informing them through verbally or calling them or sending them email, what I can do is I can respond it here itself. I have another meeting, and then my response will be no, and then send it. So once I respond to this calendar event, you'll be able to see on this calendar those who are in the guest list as well. They can see the organizer is not able to attend for this meeting, and he has given an option, which means he has given a comment. This is the reason he's not. This is why he's not attending for this meeting. So just like that, you can also respond to this event based on any criteria, and you can also respond it by just simply giving an information about whatever the concerns that you have throughout that time or throughout that meeting. Okay, so let's just go to this option called, which is the Google Meet. All right. So Google Meet is the one of the tool that we are using already in even right now in this session. So what I could do is before I join the meeting, I can also just simply adjust the mic and the cam, which is also that. And there's also something called the change the background, which is also possible. And what you could do is basically you can change the background. Let's say if you want to have your company banners, if you want to do any sort of marketing, engaging with your clients, you can also have your company banner as your background. And immediately you can also join the call. And one interesting thing that you have in Google Meet, you don't have to invite people specifically by sending them as an email. There's something called here, you can copy the link of the meeting. All right. What you could do is you can also share this link across the people, just simply sharing the link along with any users that you want them to join. Even it could be a person who is not using a Gmail account. They can just simply click on the link and they can join the meeting immediately. Simple as that. So that is the option also you have. So right now I have shared a link with all of you. You can also click on it, so that basically what will happen is once you click on the link, the organizer of the event will get a pop-up message on the screen saying that to accept the user or to decline the user. So which means the organizer can accept the participant or also can decline it. So which is also possible, that can be also done. All right. So let me just talk a little further about the Google Meet, which is also going to be one of the productive tools that you're going to face during this season, because that's a reason we are all connecting virtually in different locations. We are unable to meet physically. So we are going to use the Google Meet. Okay. So throughout the meeting, if there are any, let's say, a presenter who wants to speak it out, and they can just present it, and they can just talk about whatever the contents of the topic that they want to talk. And while throughout the session, there's something called the voice caption. So immediately when I click on the voice caption, you can see at the bottom of my screen, whatever I speak, it will get typed on the real time. All right. So you can see now on my screen. So the presenter, basically they can look at the screen and get the information, and they don't have to hear me physically. They can just look at the screen and grab the information then and there, which is also possible. And this is right now, it's only available in few other languages. Later on, we'll be also getting all the languages like our Sinhala and Tamil as well. And you can see the caption, which also can be defined. If you all know any other languages, you can also basically switch it into any other languages such as French, German, and other languages as well. Okay, so right now it's only available with these few other languages. So in future, we also will be enabling the rest of the languages as well. And there's something also you can or use the option called the raise hand. If you have any questions, without interrupting the presenter, you can just in a manerical way, you can just basically raise your hand just by simply click on this option here, so that the presenter will notifies the hand raising option. So whoever raised their hand, whoever wants to ask a question throughout the meeting, they can just simply click on this option over here. All right. And there's something also you can see, basically it is also can be recorded. So the entire session is getting recorded right now. You can see this option over here. So this is the option where I can also start recording. Let me also tell you that this is not available for the basic users. And the recording feature is only available in the enterprise version. So let me just put you that out so that you will know. Then otherwise you might even go and figure it out. I don't have the recording feature. So this is the feature which is available in the enterprise version. So if you want to know about the enterprise features in detail, you can also contact to the respective colleagues. So those who have in contact with you, those who are in touch with you, you can also talk to them. And you can also have any questions. You can also give your contact details through this chat bar as well. Okay. So there's something called here where you could find there's an activities. Let me also just brief you about, paint a picture about this particular features that we see in this activities, which is the breakout rooms, polls, QA, recording, and whiteboard. Okay. Like I told you, since we are connecting through virtually, when I want to say, let's say if I want to share certain ideas and my thoughts, let's say this is a meeting which I need to plan for my next year pipeline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a quick a whiteboard, which is the virtual whiteboard. And I'm going to share this across whoever in this call. I'm going to share it with them as well. So immediately there will be a whiteboard which will get created on my screen, which is the Google Jamboard. So in this Google Jamboard, what will happen is you can share your ideas. Even it could be any pertaining to an image, any product that you're serving. Even it could be a service. Even if it could be any documents that you want to share across with the people, and then ask the ideas to share their thoughts and ideas during this virtual board. So for an example, if I have something to talk about, let's say this is Google Workspace ideas, and I can also just simply save it. And you, by the time right now, you would have received an email. All of you can also go to your email and just figure it out. There could be an email that has been sent to all of you. You would have received by now. There's something called Google Jamboard that has been shared across with you, so that you can also click on the link. And right now, you can also join to this virtual whiteboard, which is the Google Jamboard, immediately right over here. So this is the place to explore your ideas, your new thoughts, where you want to even bring your blueprint and just sketch certain ideas and thoughts. And you can, if you're using a touchpad, you can also just draw something over here. And so right now I can also see there's one user, which is Situm. Situm is also there in this virtual whiteboard, so that he can also explore his ideas right over here. So this is a virtual Jamboard that you can use. So when you're setting up certain meetings, any planning that you want to make, you can also use the Google Jamboard over here. Okay, so that's about Google Jamboard, and you can also share with more people if you want it to be. And you can see now Situm also just trying to draw something, and he's just trying to sketch certain his ideas and thoughts, which is also can be done with more number of people, which means there are multi number of people also can be concurrently joined to this call, and also can be done. Okay. Also, there's something called the Q&A option. Like I told you, if you have any questions and updates, you can also do that. So, and you can also ask your questions. For an example, need a commercial training. I'm just asking a common question. So once I post the question, people also can vote it, and it says upvote, and which means basically those who have a similar question, they don't have to type the question. They can, instead of doing that, they can just upvote it. So that those options also can be done. So which means you can basically ask questions. As an organizer, I can also delete the question if I don't want it to be answered. If they have unwanted questions, which is not irrelevant, which is irrelevant to this topic, you can also delete the question. Okay. And there's also something we call the polls. So polls is something where you can basically, it's like an voting system. You can throw up to, let's say for an example, if you have a topic that you want to discuss during that meeting, you can throw up the topics to this throughout this polls, and you can ask people to vote that to that topic. Let's say you can give 2 topics about Google, and you can talk about something else in the cloud platform. And throughout that topic, you can ask the audience to vote to those two topics. So whatever topics that they want to discuss the huge the maximum number of votes that you have received to a certain topics, you can talk about it. So that is what we call polls. So polls only can be created by the organizer. Those who organize the event, they are the people who can create the polls. So that is what it says. It's a voting system. And also the recording option, like I said, this is a recording feature which is only available in the enterprise version. You can also do that. So, all right. And breakout rooms is something like where you can also create a same topic. Let's say you can have multiple topics in one particular meeting, and you can bring every audience split to those 3 topics. For an example, if I take 3 topics about Google, about any other platforms and services, you can split those topics, and you can also split people, audience, into those 3 topics. And you can ask them to discuss about the topic throughout that group, and you can also end the breakout rooms just like that. Okay, so that's about Google Meet, and that's about the Google product that we wanted to, which I wanted to show you. And I believe it was productive, and you got some insight about this product. And so right now we want to just quickly demonstrate something about the GMB, which is the SEO side of it, and also to increase your productivity, and about the awareness about your services and your organization through the Google in the search engine. So it'll be demonstrated by I believe that Varuna. So Varuna is over the call. So it's over to you, Varuna.
Hi Arjun, thank you. So hope everyone is having a good time. I think most of everyone is like half of the people, I think, guess that they are living at home and working from home. So I think, wait, I'll share my screen now. Can everyone see the screen?
Hold on.
Yes.
Yes, you can see. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I'll go through with the product called Google My Business, right? So I'll just give you like a little description. What does the Google My Business mean? So I'll show up with our own one, right? So when you go to Google, right? When you go to Google and when you type a particular name, now forget about fintech, we'll put National Savings Bank Head Office, right? So this is NSB Head Office. Now you see, when you type, assume that you have a business by the name X, right? So if you want to have a good repo on Google sites and Google search and wherever it is, right? You need to have a Google My Business profile set up for you, right? So I will take this basic example. So whenever you type a product or a property or a business, there is a dedicated space for you given by Google to do your promotions, to tell about your working hours, everything, right? So this is called the Google My Business. This is the outer line that anybody can see, right? So I'll go inside. So we'll take the same thing, National Savings Bank. Right. Now, this is the outer appearance of the particular dashboard, right? So whenever you type NSB, you will end up with here. So it does have all the information and the reviews, the photos, the Q&As, and also the popular times. Now, this is very important, right? Right now, this is a new feature because like for the ATMs also, this works fine. If you're going for an ATM and if you want to see whether the ATM is crowded or not, you can see it from here. Right, so this is compatible with the mobile phones as well, right? So I'll go inside. Now this is the inside of this panel, right? So this is the outer appearance which customers see. This is the inside, right? So from here you will get a little bit of information about how many people have searched your terms, which is NSP, how many people have came to the particular office and which time, blah blah blah. So those little bit of informations and insights are storing here, right? So whatever you what you have to do is, now this works as like a social media platform which is more similar to Facebook but very advanced to Facebook, right? So if you go here in home, you will see a slight idea about how your business is performing, right? And you can have a like whatever you do on Facebook or whatever you do on other platforms, you can replicate that here as well, right? Now assume that I'll get that this thing. So if you see here, this is FineTech, this is us. If you see here, we have listed all our products here. So whoever comes, all the products are visible here, right? Then we have the explore categories as well. Then the popular times and also the reviews and also the posting. If you go here, you will see what are we up to, right? And the profiles. If you go to see, if you want to go my Facebook and YouTube, whatever is LinkedIn, straight away you can go to that. So this is the inside. Now we'll go to post, right? So you can add products, add events, add updates, and also you can add offers. If you are selling goods to the customers, if you want to do close some deals or close some what you call the packages or whatever it is, you can set it up an offer and you can run that. So from here also it is directly into the Google ads as well. So I'm not going to cover the ads part because I think you have a slight idea about how Google ads work, right? Like whenever you go to gossip sites, daily FT or whatever it is, you will see on the right side of the column. Now I'll show you one Google ad, blog.fc. This is our blog. So we are letting other people to come and put their advertisement on our blog. So when you go here, you will see these are the advertisement, right? This is advertisement of a game, and sometimes offers are coming like Abans or whatever it is, right? So everything is doing, most of the time, everything is doing by here, create ad, right? Then you can have the destinations, whether if you are selling something like food, something like that, so you can explore your variety of foods that you have by Google ads. So we'll put ads apart. So these are the information that you need to have. So posting, like I said before, you can do posting. Then information. Now this is very important, right? So information means now this shows about your company to the entire world, right? So you have to be very careful on handling this because these things are very important, because if you have given a wrong time for a wrong place, it will manipulate all the people, right? So you have to be more careful because these informations should be very accurate, and most of the time Google picks up if it is a poor day or a common general holiday. We will see when we type the particular place from the map, so whatever it is, it says that this place is closed due to poor or something like that, right? Then the appointment link, you can have an appointment link. And if you have stores, like in the sense, if we take DSI has more than 250 outlets, right? And you can have the store codes there, right? For the Maligavattam one, you have a different store code. For the Kagal one, you can have a different store code. Likewise, you can have store codes and labels as well. So you can fill these things. Then the insights. So the insights are like how many people have searched you for the last 1 month, right? direct, discovery, and branded. Then the listings on Google. Then the total actions, how many people have visited to your website, and also how many people have asked directions to a particular office, how many people have called you. Now this is we'll take for the quarter. So these are the common areas that people came from, so we can divide it into GN divisions as well. Then the popular times, the photo views, so everything is here, and also the reviews. So I think when we go here, you see 76 Google reviews. So you can moderate, you can you can centralize, you can manage your reviews from the console as well, right? So, and also the messages, this is a new feature. So whenever, if someone has the mobile application, and whenever, if you're on the map, if you're searching for a place, if you're searching for NSP, directly you can send a message to the Google My Business portal, whether asking for the, like, whether the services are available, whether you are open or not. But there should be a dedicated person, or the app should be installed in a phone or somewhere else, because the end user can reply at any given time. Then the photos, right? The photos, you can manage the photos. These are the photos. There are 3 set of photos. One is by owner. You can add your own photos. And customers, whenever we go somewhere, and if assume that we are going for a tea shop, and we are having a photo of the particular tea shop, and we are uploading, and we are tagging the place. This is the place all the photos are coming and getting ended up, right? So these are all of these, most of the photos are put by third party. If you see here, see Senanaka Bandara, then these are individuals, Shane Benjamin. So everything is coming and ended up in here, right? Then the products. So the products, you can list your products. If you're selling goods, you can list all the products. If you are giving services, now assume that you are working in a leasing company, what are the leasing that you are giving? If you are working in a bank, what are the rates that you have? All the products you can list in here. This works as a SEO tool as well, right? Then the users. So you have a user management here as well. So you can add users, like if you want to share things, there are some roles: owner, manager, site manager. Owner is the top level, manager, site manager. So if you are an organization, if you want to hand over this marketing tool to any kind of third party, then you can add them as manager or site manager. Then they can do their work, right? And also the businesses. So if you represent only one office, it's okay, you can have one Google My Business panel. But if you are running multiple offices, assume that Dainty has an office in Borlascomo, Dainty has their own head office, then Dainty has the Maligawa Road Distribution Center, as well as they have a printing office. They have 4 offices. So for the both 4 offices, you need to have 4 accounts, but it will manage under one account. So it's very easy for you. Yeah, so that's the Google My Business what we call the introduction, because there are a lot of things that you can do. So I'll go through for a different phrase, because I told in the beginning that you can create ads from here, right? So whenever you create an ad from here, we can identify what sort of a audience is engaged with your particular business. If you are selling palm oil, right, we can see how many people are interested on palm oil, from which city, from which region, at what time they are coming. So everything is, we are integrating everything into analytics, right? So I'll go through. I think most of the people have know about Google Analytics. So I just go through, like I'll give you a little bit of introduction how analytics was, because we are connecting all the things together, right? So analytics means like how many people are coming to the website, then you can get the data you can get their data. So last 7 days, 109 people have gone through our website, and the session duration is 1 minute, which is that they have spent averagely 2 minutes in our website. What are they doing, right? So we'll see what are they doing. And these are the traffic channels. From social, this much of people are coming to the website. From organic, this much of people are coming to the website. And active users, then this is the peak time. right? The peak time is very important. Like if you are doing a marketing, if you are doing marketing for a particular company, peak time is very important, because peak time is the time that you have to run all the campaigns, the Google ads, whatever it is, because that's the common time that people are coming to the website. Might be a different reason. Then also you can sort all the session by devices, so you can see how many people are coming from desktop, mobile and tablet, right? And these are by country, but you can sort it out until cities, right? So these are the pages. Now if you have a website and if you have multiple pages, you can track that as well, right? Then about the audience, right? Very important factor, because you have to, if you are running a business, or if you are having a, if you are involved with whatever the business, right? If it is something to do with customers, B2B or B2C or whatever it is, you have to know about them, right? So here you can see how many returning visitors, how many new visitors. So returning visitors are the most important factor, because they are coming and coming again and again and again to a business, is that there's something that you can do, right? So from here you can see the countries, the cities, the browsers and the operating system. So everything is here, right? So you will have a idea about how your business is performing, whether the traffic are coming and what are you have to do, who are they, likewise. So this is the picture that I wanted to tell you about, because nowadays everything are getting online, right? So people are more keen on to buy stuff on online, people are more keen on to go with online stuff, e-commerce and blah blah blah. So I think it's better to have an online presence for whatever the company that you have, right? Let people know about what are the services that you give, right? If the traffic are coming, then you can open up something like a payment gateway, whatever it is, then you can sell something. If you are onto products and if you are giving a service, then this is one best platform, because you can get leads, right? You can do some advertisement here and there and you can get some leads, you can follow up. So this is the picture. So anybody have any questions about what I said, like Google My Business or analytics?
Yeah, if you all have any questions, you can also use this chat bar, so that you can also just throw your questions at here. If you have any questions, you can also unmute your mic and speak it out. So any questions pertaining to Google My Business or Google Workspace that we explained?
Sorry, in that case,
Hello,
one quick
Varun,
question
here.
from me.
Yeah, I think Thimal and Situm, both of
Yeah.
you have a questions.
Let Situm go ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
Situm.
Yeah.
Okay, Varun, if you then with Google Analytics,
Yeah.
you are monitored via our website thing. And then we need, if you do that, we need to first connect to the analytics.
Yeah, you have to manually connect. There are two ways. One way is manually you have to enter a code to the website. Then automatically after 48 hours, you will extract all the data, right? The second one is there's something called universal ID. If you are using a WordPress site, now there are two ways. Now one is WordPress, one is coding. So if you have a WordPress site, it's very easy. You have to enter a number, right? Because on WordPress, there's a plugin called Connect to Google Analytics, and there's something called Universal ID. So whenever you open that ID and whenever you put an insert, automatically you can get it done. But in coding, you have to enter the code manually to the top and header and the footer. Then it's working.
Okay. Thanks, Anna.
Yeah, Sumal.
Yeah, no, my question was related to the previous session. I just want to know how to do a template and to retrieve that template, if you don't mind.
Arjun.
Yeah, can you come again with that question?
On the templates, Arjun, I just want to know how to save a template. Is that after you send the email, and then also how to retrieve that template?
Yes. Varuna, can you stop sharing the screen so that I can share my screen?
1 minute. Okay, I did it.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen. So when it comes to saving a template, so what you could do is you can compose the email first. Let's say for the moment, I would just say test, so that you can also get all the content over here on the compose bar. And then you can just go to this option called the three dots, which you will find right at the bottom. There's an option called templates, and you can directly save it from here, which says save as a template, save as a new template, which is for the new template. And there's also something here. So once you save it, you'll be able to see the subject of the email will be saved as a template name. So I can save it so. And if I go to a new compose bar again, I can go to templates and just click on the option again, and then just you can insert it. All right. So the content again, it will get inserted to the newest compose bar. There's also something you can do here. You can also re-amend it if you want it to, which means after you inserting the template, you can also re-amend it, and you can also just save it as it is. Let me just close this here. So either two ways, either you can also re-amend it, either you can also delete the template as well. So that is the option you have in this compose bar.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So any other questions? Also, if you have any questions apart from whatever the application that we covered, if it is not, if there are other applications which we haven't covered, so it is not possible at all for us to cover the entire platform. We only have showed you what are the high productive features that we can use during this time, which is to to keep all your the productivityness into an extent. So is there anything else that you want to ask? Is there any other questions?
Arjun, now this Jamboard integration to the Google Meet, now the Google has done that, and in this Jamboard, we can get the blank whiteboard, and can we start with the normal, maybe our own diagram, some JPG or some with something like that, and then annotating on top of that.
Yes, it's a Google Jamboard is a separate application. So when you go to this waffle icon, you'll be able to see all these applications. So whatever that I showed you is I took a scenario and I just explained you. So Google Jamboard has been embedded to this Google Meet for us to share our thoughts and ideas. That's it. But when it comes to you are doing a separate topics or a separate subject, you can just go to this, navigate to this icon, and then go to this application over here, so that you can start it so freshly, and then bring all the, let's say for an example, if you have any templates that you have already created, you can also upload it, which is also can be done. So there are so many ways that you can also do it. So one thing, if I were to show my ones for an example. So these are the Jamboard that basically I have created. So in many of my workloads, so whatever that pertaining to documents, topics that you want to create to, so you can also create it so freshly. You can bring diagrams such as like this, so which is also can be done. So I believe I got the answer.
Yeah,
Satullah?
and then on top of this diagram, then we can do that collaborative discussions. Others
Yes,
also can, right?
exactly. So you can have a fresh document, and then you can also share it with your collaborators, and you can start sketching or whatever. You can do all your works.
Right. Thanks, Arjun.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so I think
Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
There's one
Hi,
question from
it's me, Sashini.
yeah.
Could you please explain about the other apps, like in Google Apps, like you did Jamboard also. There are some other apps also. Like, can you like do a small like introduction on these? What are these things like?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Cloud search, Earth, Keep, travel, and podcasts also.
Okay. So in terms of other rest of the applications, I believe you all know about the Sheets and Slides. So Sheets, these are applications like, such as the alternative product of Excel. Slide is the alternative product of PowerPoint. So here you can create slides, presentations. So that is what we do here. In terms of the other applications, like, Google Keep, it is an application where you can, it's like a note, sticky notes that you use. That's an alternative product of sticky notes to keep all your, instant notes that you want to point it down. Let's say it's a quick numbers, or it could be a kind of a checklist. It could be anything. Even it could be a business cards that you want to save it as an image under Google Keep, which is also possible. For an example, if I were to show you this particular application, because this is one of the productive tool that you could find in the Google Workspace, because most of the time people who go for outsiders, people who are visiting customer locations and all of that. So what you could do is you can also keep all like people who collect business cards and or any other documents, or if there anything that you pertaining to a materialized documents or any works, materialized resources, you can take even an image, you can save it under Google Keep. So which is also can be done. For an example, let me just, okay, it's a little bit getting loaded. So that is what basically does in Google Keep. And if you go to Google Chat, obviously we all know that Google Chat is to make chats and groups. That's what I showed you in Gmail. And Google Meet, I showed you that. And Google Site is something like you can create your own. It's not a website, basically. It's like yes, it's a similar tool like a website, where you can also create your own intranet page. Let's say, for an example, if you have your a kind of hub or an intranet in your organization, where you can collect all the necessary resources in your organization in one place, you can create it that so in Google Sites. So for an example, if I were to show you one feature in events, you can create an event content like a site, and you can publish that site inside your organization, so that every one of you in your organization can be they can use this site to collect information, to collect even if you have any materials for the KT sessions and all of that. So basically it can be created for just like a site that can be published among with your organization, even out of the organization also, which is also can be done. So this is you don't have to have a knowledge of a person who have to have a developing a site. You don't have to have a thorough knowledge. You can even just study about it. Just you can create it. It's like a drag and drop option. And so let me also show the applications. Currents, it's something a social platform, which is also can be used for posting all your organizational events, like such as like activities. If you have any activities that you do, like like games, it could be even events that you do, like annual planning or whatever events that you do. Even if it could be your staff birthdays, celebrations, whatever that is there in your organization, you can use Currents as a social platform inside your organization. So that is what basically does in Currents. Contacts is to keep all your email contact lists. It's not only email contact list. You can also synchronize with your smartphone, which is your contacts in your mobile phone, which is also can be done. So the contacts is to keep a group of email. You can create group emails, which is also can be done. So so you can see other applications as well. Google Forms. Google Forms is an application to get feedbacks. It's like a survey application. It's a survey application where, let's say, after you're conducting certain meetings and events inside your organization or out of your organization, you can collect information from the audience. So Forms is something like also you can create as a feedback survey. At the same time, you can also make it as a quiz form. Let's say you have a assessment that you want to create for a certain product awareness. You can do also as a quiz format, and you can also do through this Google Forms as well. And so you also have in Google Workspace, Google Vault. Vault is something to retain emails or any of their users. Let's say if there's a user that resigns from your organization, let's say if they have deleted certain emails, or is there any email content that they have deleted, you can retain all those emails under this Vault. So Vault is only belongs to people who do the administration part on the Google Workspace, mostly like IT people. So that is what even Vault does. And Classroom it's something like a virtual. It's in a virtual education system that has created by Google. So it's like it's mostly for the institute and school firm, so that they have created. So basically, you can also do it for the organization. Let's say you have a product that you have to bring a knowledge, create a knowledge awareness within your organization, and you can create it a classroom. So within that classroom, you can create those awareness all about the products. So you can even do assignments, questions, and you can even marks, grades. All these options can be done through the classroom. And yeah, so those are the features that we use in Google Workspace. So whatever that other application that you see, these are additional tools that I have added to my for my own purposes. So that's about it. So is there any questions? I hope I got the answer, but I couldn't cover the entire platform because we are out of time right now. So I think we also have to wind up the session because we have gone out of time right now, I believe. So I hope it is clear. So, and I believe that is the session is also would have been a productive session. You would have got some better insight about the products and the features that we have talked about. So if any further information or any insight, or if any training that you need for your organization, to all the staff members that you want to specifically focus on any product, we'll be also able to do trainings online so throughout this season. So also, if you want to know about any products or any proposal that you want to talk about, please contact all our respective people from FineTech. So we'll be in touch with you. I hope this session was productive, and thank you so much for this time, for your valuable time that you have spent for almost 1.5 hours. And is there anything else that you want to clarify before that?
Yeah, thank you, FineTech team. One request, that is, now we have explained several features and the products here, and if you can actually divide these different explanations into different set of videos, you can only capture that screen part and the voice part, and that will be helpful because we can then circulate among our staffs as well, because they also can see.
Yes. So yeah, we'll be basically creating certain videos, materials for each and every application. Will be we are working on the program. The task is on process. We'll be also then later on we'll be sharing it with you all, so that you can also share across with your team members, so that they also will be able to get the insight about applications and features. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Atula. All right, so thank you so much. Hope you all had a good time, And I believe this session was a very useful and insightful session. If you need any further assistance, please contact, like I said, we're with our team. So we are there to help you out. So thank you so much. Have a great day. And yeah, see you. Thank you all. All the best.